with you, though, that I think money corrupts the process. I do, however, agree with Citizens United in the sense that I think speech, whether you pay for it or not, is speech. And the thing is that, let's say I own the Chicago Tribune. I've got a much bigger voice than millions of people, and yet no one is proposing that we restrict how much the Chicago Tribune, what articles they write, and where their bias is. So I think paid speech really has to be protected. What I would do, though, and I think, and really all these things have been found to be unconstitutional because of the First Amendment. I think there is campaign finance reform, and this is campaign finance reform that I support that would be held constitutional. What I would do is I would take all government contracts and I would put a clause in them that says, if you want to do work with the government, if you're going to get this $10 billion contract, if you're a defense contractor, or if you're a big union and you're going to get a big contract, you sign the contract, but part of the clause of the contract says your contract's only valid if you don't participate in the donation to candidates. You can decide exactly what that means, whether it's a restriction or not, but that's where, to me, the real unseemliness is corporations and unions, frankly, that get money from government. Let's say you get $10 million, your first million's to buy a good lobbyist to go lobby for more. It's sort of insulting to have taxpayer money go to an entity that turns around and then lobbies for more with that money. And I think that's where the biggest corrupting of the system comes from, and conflict of interest is. I think that would withstand constitutional muster, because if you want to do work for the government, there is no guaranteed right to that work. You can have restrictions on work, and I'd place it in the contract, and I think that would pass constitutional muster, and that's what I favor.
Do you think that these 501c4s that are social welfare education groups, like the Koch brothers organization or STI or any, on both sides, do you think that they should have to fully disclose where their money's coming from?
The interesting thing is the first cases that came out about this was the NAACP versus Alabama, because during the era of civil rights, if you gave to one of these organizations like the NAACP or like anything to try to reverse Jim Crow laws, you were targeted for violence. And so you can see how, while it sounds good, yeah, we should disclose everything, you can also see how that violence could be directed against people because of their beliefs and their donations. But for the most part, I am for disclosure. That being said, we have disclosure on all the campaign entities. 501c4s are restricted from campaigning, so they're not allowed to campaign.
They are. Do you believe that they're not involved in campaigning?
They are involved in, indirectly. They don't advocate directly for candidates, and if they are, then they have to, they either lose.
There's been a lot of money in these states where there are Senate races this year. Do you think that's
right? Just
to illuminate the public?
For the most part, I think speech is good, and I think people are smart enough to figure out speech and to know where it comes from, even without the disclosure. I mean, I think people are. But the only concern about disclosure is the discrimination against people who might donate to particular causes.